When the world is in crisis and people are looking for hope and answers, Thai PBS World is there with you with the best minds of the day. Join us on Thai PBS World tonight, every weekdays at 7 p.m. Thai PBS World, we bring Thailand to the world. Swadika, very good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. I'm Nabunag.
I'm Tulip Naksompop and we will start tonight with the news about Royalists and the rally that's probably going to happen this Saturday.
Right.
First of all, the Royalists, they demonstrate today at the Parliament led by Haritai Muangbunsi. They said that they are there because they want to show the opposition in an attempt to reform the Thai monarchy. And specifically the draft constitutional amendment proposed by ILAW NGO that seek to amend Chapter 1 and 2 of the current charter. These two chapters are the chapter that regarding the sovereignty and the monarchy. The Royalists, the group, claim that the NGO is being funded by foreign agencies to undermine the institution. The group pointed out that all the draft amendments focus on dismantling the Senate except the ILAW's draft, which also seek to amend Chapter 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the Parliament President Chua Lik Pai said today that the Parliament will deliberate on the 7 draft amendments, including the one proposed by ILAW on November 17 and 18 as scheduled. Regarding the motion by Pracharat Party List Member of Parliament Phaiboon Nititawan on behalf of a group of senators and Pracharat MPs seeking a constitutional court ruling on the constitutionality of 3 of the draft charter amendments. Chuan said that the motion will have to wait until after deliberation on all the drafts. Meanwhile, about the rally that will happen, not yet. We're going to talk about the Deputy Prime Minister first. Since there are concerns from the anti-government protester that the government is not, sincere about getting the charter changed. The Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Kriyangam had said that the government fully supported the charter amendment, and there has been some criticism about the sincerity in the process of amendment. So, because the government has let the MPs and the senators slow down the process. So he said they're in support of all the change. Not exactly confirm or deny anything, but support of all the change.
At least there's some good sign that the charter changes is actually accepted by the government, so we'll see how it goes. Still on the weekend protest, the police are preparing to deploy more female officers for the demonstrations this weekend. The Royal Thai Police is actually preparing for a pro-democracy rally at the Democracy Monument and in front of the Education Ministry this Saturday. The Royal Thai Police spokesman, Police Major General Yingyot Thepjamnong, said they expected that most of the participants will be students. Yingyot added that the Bureau was ordered to deploy more female crowd control officers to monitor the situation and prevent any violence that might occur. He said the police understand that students have the right to express their political views, but they also need to respect the laws as well. Yingyot also talked about the demonstration on November 8th at Sanam Luang, saying that the police had warned the protesters not to approach the Grand Palace prior to spraying the water. Regarding the smoke bomb seen that day, the police will soon pursue legal action of a person behind the incident. Yingyot said that from October 13th until now, 89 protesters have been arrested and charged with various offenses, mostly for sedition under Section 116 of the Criminal Code. After being notified of the charges, all offenders have been released while police are gathering more evidence to submit to the prosecutors.
So now let's move on to COVID. Today we record new 5 cases of the COVID-19. All of them imported and all of them is under the state quarantine. Most of them are Thai. The first case is a 30-year-old student returning from Sweden. And there is a 45-year-old welder returning from Iran. The 58-year-old businessman returning from Kenya. The 65-year-old woman returning from Switzerland, and also a 70-year-old German arriving from Germany. They are all in isolation in the quarantine. So these new cases brought the total number of infections in Thailand to 3,852, while 3,693 have already recovered. And 99 others are still being treated in the hospital, and the death toll remains at 60. And talking about quarantine plan, before this we have report to you that the 10-day quarantine plan has been proposed by the Public Health Minister, Anutin Charnvirakul. But he said that right now they will stay at 14 days. He actually said that the experts said the 14 or 10 days has no difference, but he doesn't want the public to get panic. He also stated that the recent cases of Hungarian minister testing positive and a French woman also raised fears and concerns among the general public. Anutin also stated that although this would slow down the ability of foreign tourists to enter the country, that safety and security of Thai people was the #1 concern for him. And many Thai citizens were uncomfortable with lowering the idea of quarantine for only 10 days. Talking about foreigner and tourists, the Deputy Commissioner of the Immigration Bureau, Achayon Graithong, said that there are a number of special tourist visa applications have been received from about 10 yachts, hoping to enter Thailand. These yachts are currently cruising in the international water, asking to dock their boats in Thailand. Most of the passengers are from Singapore and Malaysia. Achayon said that everyone on board will go through document checks in order to have STV applications approved. Once it's been approved, they will need to carry out a 14 days quarantine on board. After the quarantine period, they will be free to travel around the country. However, they will need to comply with health measures and wear tracking bracelets.
Although Singles Day is already over, there's a very interesting story we would like to share with you, is that a clinic has launched a Singles Day sale so that people who wanted to get cosmetic surgery can get under the knife at a very low price. And this is definitely very interesting here. So let's take a look at this report. A Thai cosmetic surgery clinic saw patients snap up nose jobs and eyelid operations for its first ever Singles Day sale after it has been highly affected from the pandemic. Nose jobs and double eyelid surgery, popular among Asian customers wanting more Western eyes, typically start at 30,000 baht, but are now priced at only 7,000 baht.
พอมันมีโปรโมชั่นก็คือตัดสินใจทำเลยแต่ว่าก็ไม่ได้มีผลกระทบอะไร คือสามารถคือเป็นราคาที่จับต้องได้อะค่ะ
The 35-year-old customer is opting for a silicone bridge to enhance the sharpness of her nose. After a brief consultation with the clinic owner, she went inside an operating room and given a local anesthetic. Thailand is a major hub for medical tourism, attracting clients from Asia and Australia to their hospitals and clinics, including for plastic surgery procedures that come bundled in package deals with luxury hotel stays to recover from invasive operations such as breast implants. But travel restrictions that were imposed to stem the spread of the coronavirus has severely impacted the industry, worth $600 million, slowing the plane loads of patients to a trickle. At Vio Clinic, clients have fallen by up to 30%, and the single-stay sale was to encourage loyal customers affected by pandemic-spurred economic woes.
เราก็ต้องเข้าใจนะว่าความต้องการยังมีแต่ด้วยเศรษฐกิจเนี่ยที่บางคนเนี่ยจองกับเราไว้แล้วอาจจะต้องเลื่อนเพราะว่ายังไม่พร้อมเรื่องของรายได้นะครับการที่เราจัดโปรโมชั่นก็เป็นส่วนหนึ่งที่ทำให้เขามีโอกาสได้มาผ่าตัดเร็วขึ้น
All 20 operating slots on offer were quickly snapped up. The procedure took roughly an hour. The patient waved off her flash decision for a permanent facial fix, saying it was something she had wanted to do all her life.
คือมันไม่มีเลยอ่ะมันเลยอยากให้มันมีมิติขึ้นมาคือเพื่อนก็ชอบล้อว่าดั้งแมบอะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็เลยอยากทำ
She also believes that having a nose job will make her more beautiful, adding that such quick nip and tucks have become a normal thing to do in Thailand. It's unbelievable to have a cosmetic surgery at only 7,000 baht.
And when you think of single day shopping, you don't think of cosmetic surgery. So
No.
this is additional industry adding to, can we call this e-commerce? No, not e-commerce, but single day shopping.
Right.
Anyway, let's talk about online and review. Nowadays, when you're gonna go travel somewhere, you're gonna eat someplace, most people like to read review online. And one American guy got himself into trouble by leaving 1-star review on Tripadvisor
Right.
at this resort on Koh Chang in Trat province. The latest development is that Tripadvisor took the unusual step of posting a warning on its website about a Thai hotel. This hotel is Sea View Resort and Spa Koh Chang, after it said that an American guest there faced criminal charges and spent time in jail over his 1-star review he posted on the website. The warning said that the hotel may have been exercising its legal rights under local law. However, it is our role to inform you, so you may take this into consideration when researching your travel plans. The resort actually have 4.5 stars rating. The U.S. local news outlet Fox News quoted the Tripadvisor spokesperson saying in the email that this was the first case of a traveler going to jail for sharing their opinion that the company was aware of. The email said that the Tripadvisor believes in the right of every traveler to write about their first-hand traveling experiences, good or bad. Most negative reviews posted are valuable customer service and learning experiences for businesses who choose to constructively engage this feedback. The email said Tripadvisor strongly opposed any action where a business like the Sea View Hotel and Spa in Koh Chang uses local law to send someone to jail for expressing their opinion. This extraordinary action is why Tripadvisor has taken steps to issue an alert to their travelers. This story has been picked up by New York Times, Reuters, AFP, and also many other foreign media. The American traveler in this story was identified by AFP as Wesley Barnes. He was working in Thailand. He was arrested in September after the resort's owner filed a complaint about a review he posted in July. His review on Tripadvisor said, unfriendly staff, no one ever smiles, they act like they don't want anyone there, and he said the restaurant manager was the worst. And he said the restaurant manager is extremely rude and impolite to the guests. The resort also responds, and you can read it all on Tripadvisor website. But the response, they claim that Barnes was using abusive language and was refusing to pay the $16 corkage fees, among others. And the response also said that Barnes were trying to give a very negative image of their wonderful resort and very friendly staff. So the resort itself told Fox News that it was suing Barnes because he left multiple and slanderous reviews on Tripadvisor and Google. The resort agreed to drop charges in early October in exchange for a public apology, and Barnes himself reportedly left Thailand quietly early this week.
So it's quite a bold move from this resort, because if we go on Tripadvisor, if someone does leave negative reviews, usually the hotel management would respond saying that we will improve our service. But for this resort, they decided to put someone in jail.
I guess maybe they're not used to negative review because they got 4.55. Most of their review 5 stars.
Right, so maybe that was why they could not accept that negative review and put him in jail. It's quite unusual anyway.
Yes.
But, and just so you know, these are the stories we've also been following. Southeast Asian leaders kicked off the 37th ASEAN Summit today, which is held virtually due to the coronavirus pandemic. High on the summit's agenda will be tensions in the South China Sea. The leaders are also expected to sign the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, this Sunday, in what could become the world's biggest trade agreement. The Prime Minister of Vietnam called for ASEAN solidarity and strength to address the challenges efficiently, especially in handling and recovering from the pandemic, as well as enhancing partnership in order to promote peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. The Bangkok Mass Transit Authority Labor Union said today that the police should not be using public buses as barriers in protests because these buses belong to the public and have been bought using the taxpayers' money. The president of BMTA Labor Union said the company was told to provide buses for 3 separate days. The BMTA also lost out on earning during those days as so many public buses had been put out of action. He also said the police should be held responsible for the damages, not the protesters. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration has decided to improve the landscape of Chongnonsi Canal and turn it into a park in time for Songkran next year. The Bangkok governor said the plan is to not just improve the drainage of the canal, but also to beautify the area as it is in the center of the capital and linked with several public transportation routes. The Chongnonsi Canal walkway will be about 4.5 kilometers long and start from Surawong through Bang Rak, Sathorn, and Yanawa areas before ending at the bank of Chao Phraya River.
Back to COVID story. Every time we talk about the effect from COVID, mostly we talk about different industries, we talk about economy around the world, or health issues. But one thing that most people that probably not talk about enough is the mental health, and we have the special report on that.
COVID-19 is the largest pandemic for over a century. Its effects have spread around the world, profoundly impacting every sector. It has affected everyone's way of life, but not just physical health. Mental health has also become a significant issue. Spokesperson for the Department of Mental Health, Apichat Jariyavilat, has talked about how social distancing measures have impacted people's level of anxiety, even after lockdown measures have been relaxed.
แน่นอนว่าช่วงแรกๆเนี่ยพอเกิดปัญหาขึ้นมาที่มีล็อกดาวน์ต้องมีการเปลี่ยนการใช้ชีวิตเนี่ยช่วงนั้นเนี่ยสุขภาพจิตของคนทั่วไปเนี่ยในคนไทยหรือคนทั่วโลกเองเนี่ยได้รับผลกระทบในระดับมากระดับหนึ่ง
It was very new for people all over the world, and no one expected. One of the problems is that people suddenly have to change their way of life, and it has dramatically affected people's state of mind. Anxiety and worry about the economy, society, and health have led to stress. People need to adjust to ways they may not be familiar. What we have done is attempt to increase people's understanding about the problem, how to live, and how to protect themselves. When people understand how to keep themselves or each other safe, I believe it reduces tensions in society.
Apichat added that, at the same time, we have seen people adjust very quickly, such as the widespread use of face masks, hand sanitizer, and social distancing. Clinical psychologist Akarak Wongapai from Sitanya Hospital claims that he has seen a significant increase in patients walking into the hospital to see specialists.
ปฏิกิริยาแรกๆของคนที่เข้ามารับบริการส่วนใหญ่จะตกใจแล้วก็ตระหนกเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของสิ่งที่มันเกิดขึ้นนะครับเพราะเป็นสิ่งใหม่เขายังไม่เคยเจออะไรที่มันรุนแรงหรือมีการแพร่ระบาดได้รวดเร็วนะครับ
There was an increase in patients after state lockdown. At first, many people presented in highly stressed condition, mainly due to the lack of reliable information, and did not know how to deal with their anxiety. After more information from the government become available, they developed a better understanding of how to live under the new circumstances.
Said that access to reliable information is the most important factor for everyone. Experts say that although most people found it difficult at first, they have managed to adjust to the new normal. People who are still having a hard time need to seek expert help to prevent any adverse psychological effects to the pandemic, leading to something more serious.
And right now we have Kun Kawi Jongkithawon in the studio to give us an insight of how the Myanmar elections as well as the US elections will affect Thailand and ASEAN in general. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ So first of all, you were saying earlier that the relationship between Myanmar and Thailand has never been this good.
Oh yes, definitely. Since 1962.
What is the main indication of that great relationship between?
Because of the mutual trust between the leader of the two countries, particularly Aung San Suu Kyi. It took a long time for Aung San Suu Kyi to really trust the Thai leader.
Okay.
Only after years and years that the Thai leader assured that Thailand has no intention to weaken the central government. So now you can see all over Thailand in the major shopping center, food court. You see Thinaka cover face
right.
Myanmar, or they walk around smiling, with 2.6 million registered workers from Myanmar.
So what would be the reason that Thailand want to hurt the stability of the Myanmar government?
Well, for a long, long time, Thailand and Myanmar did not have a functional, proper relation. It's
right.
only in recent years, about 6-7 years. So it has been a very good. That is why the victory of Aung San Suu Kyi this time will further cement the cooperation between Thai and Myanmar. And this will provide a foundation of stability in mainland Southeast Asia.
And what about ASEAN and as a whole, how the Myanmar elections will cement the relationships between Myanmar and Thailand and other countries?
Well, Myanmar victory is good for ASEAN because it shows that Myanmar as a democratic country with political democratic icon like Aung San Suu Kyi will help boost the overall image of ASEAN. And then Aung San Suu Kyi now trusts ASEAN because ASEAN has been trying to help Myanmar over Rohingya.
Don't talk much about Rohingya.
Well, yes, but no, she has confidence. I know
right.
the whole world has been really criticized her.
True.
But she's now relied on ASEAN and ASEAN over effort. ASEAN is slow, but when ASEAN commit to any project, it will finish it, even though it will take a long time.
So you say the relationship between Thailand and Myanmar is really good, but if we change government or if we change leader, would it change?
No, I don't think so, because now the foundations between the two countries have been really strongly established. We now have what you call common understanding. The most important is that migrant workers from Myanmar have received good job, register, have social protection during pandemic. Only, I think, if my number is correct, only 75,000 have returned. Now we are waiting for they're coming back.
Very interesting.
Definitely. But speaking of the Myanmar elections, were you actually surprised that Aung San Suu Kyi won once again?
No, I was not surprised, but I was surprised that she got 399 seat. That's the majority. And it's good. You know why? Because I think Burmese in general and other ethnic minority believe that Aung San Suu Kyi deserves a second time.
Right.
This time, given her a majority so that she can carry out economic development and reform. That's very important. And also peace process, which is, moving and has not yet really made tangible progress.
But is Myanmar voter had any other more obvious choice than Aung San Suu Kyi?
Well, you can have the
Military
party backed by the military.
Right.
And the military also tried to push hard. But I think Myanmar people has a long sort of a memory of the government under Tatmadaw, for a long, long time.
Interesting.
So how do Myanmar perceive Thailand in general with the economy and the stability and all these things?
Well, you will be surprised as I told you, Myanmar and Thailand now are very close. They are buddy.
Right.
They are buddy because Thailand has changed the overall approach toward Myanmar. We are very friendly. We take care of Myanmar. That's why Aung San Suu Kyi was very surprised.
We weren't friendly before?
Well, we were friendly, but not as much because the two sides did not have mutual understanding and the kind of trust. It's only in the past 4 or 5 years that Aung San Suu Kyi first came here. You remember in 2011, Aung San Suu Kyi was mad when she came to Bangkok and visit the hub of Myanmar. Well, yes, Mutpakan, and she was not happy. But then she come back the second time. She was happy, said, please stay on, and enjoy Thailand, don't come back. So now you have a lot of Myanmar. And now Myanmar workers will form a very important workforce in modernized Thailand because a lot of works, Thai people do not like to work such a job. So it's good. So we need Myanmar worker. And I'm very happy that Thai government has a very good policy to take care of them during pandemic, provide social safety net. It costs a lot of money for the Thai government.
And let's move on to something a bit bigger, which was the US elections. Were you surprised with the results that Joe Biden actually won?
Well, I was not surprised because Trump has mismanaged the pandemic and Trump has upended all the foreign policy of America. I mean, Asia, particularly ASEAN, would like to deal with America that is predictable.
Right.
That's follow the rule of law, not personality cult or personal feeling or Twitter. So we are returning to
somewhat normalcy.
Yes, America that is predictable,
right.
America that we like to talk to. So Biden will be respectable, in amongst the ASEAN.
They like to use the word presidential.
Well, he looked presidential.
But a lot of people, I think, would not be surprised if Donald Trump win too, actually, right? Because he's won before.
Well,
half
Donald
of the
Trump,
country voted
interesting
for
you
him.
asked this question. Donald Trump did not expect to win, but once he win, he planned to win for the second time.
Right.
That is why he was really mad that he did not win. That is why he refused to concede. But nobody cares. I think the whole world now will be working with Biden elect. It's a matter of time before the U.S., whatever concerned authority will recognize Biden.
And when Biden come back, he's from Democrat. What is the chance that he will just continue Obama work, like switch back?
Well, not exactly. There will be some policy that Biden would like to follow his former boss. But every president wants his own template,
Right.
wants his own legacy. So Biden will be a little bit more focused on the norms and values advanced by liberal democracy. So I think the issue related to human rights and related to democratization will be top on the agenda.
What about the trade war between the US and China, which has been going on for some time? What will be the next chapter of this trade war under the Biden administration?
It will continue unabated, but there will not be the kind of demonization, the kind of harsh rhetoric. But make no mistake, Biden will be firm
Right.
with China, because issue about China is very interesting in America because it's so-called is bipartisan support, both Republican and Democrat. So I think Biden will be very careful. Biden wants to cooperate and compete with China in the healthy way so that it will be able to convince friends and allies to work together, because Trump American first made everybody mad, isolate America, so it's not good.
Right. But talking about China, there is also another issue, South China Sea. I think it's flare up once in a while between China and US. Do you think Biden will change the approach, or it's like how the US operate in South China
Well,
Sea
China,
anyway?
Biden, I think Biden has a lot of problem at home.
Right.
During the first year, he has to focus inside Americas, to unite and to heal the divided America. So he will not put too much focus on the hot spot issue. Already, I think ASEAN and China and all concerned authorities are now working on the COC. It will take some time, maybe next year they will complete the COC. For America, the job of America is to provide the overarching stability in the region. That would be best. And when there is an issue that America can take the lead, like climate change, can ask for the cooperation of friends and allies, you see. But Trump upend all this. Trump did not talk to anyone. Trump would like to do things by his own thinking, and most of the time irrational.
So Thailand barely said anything about South China Sea issue. I don't think I heard Thailand say anything.
Well, Thailand say, but say it softly.
Okay.
Thailand is very discreet when it comes to South China Sea, but Thailand has a very firm position on South China Sea. I will tell you, number one, Thailand is very clear that all the concerned parties have to exercise self-restraint. And Thailand also supports Sea Lane of Communication 1982. Thailand is a rule-based country. We respect universally recognized principle. And also, lastly, we also support non-militarization activity in the South China Sea. And of course, Thailand is not like America come out and announce it. Thailand always speaks softly to
we
the
like to
ear.
whisper.
Yes, speak, not whisper, speak softly, say, hey, listen, we have to live together, we want, because in the end, Thailand wants to see South China Sea as a sea of sustained peace and stability.
So what will be the biggest challenge for Thailand in terms of maintaining and balancing their relations between US and China? Because I remember a few months ago you once said that Thailand will not lose its benefits to any particular country.
Sure. I think it's very important that we play our game very well, because under Trump put less emphasis on norms and values, human rights and democratic issue. But Biden will be much harder on human rights related. We should not afraid. I must tell you, Thailand is a member, you'll be surprised, a liberal democracy, but we fail. We failed in the examination. Now we are what you call in Thai language, sop som. We are taking exam to
resit in the exam, I guess.
Yes. So now we passed several tests already in the past 4 years. IUU, illegal fishing, we got big score. EU said, okay, no more warning, you pass. And then on the modern slavery, on human trafficking, Thailand also passed from tier 2 watch list, now become tier 2. and next year will become tier 1.
What make them change the status of Thailand in the modern day slavery?
Interesting, because we follow rules. America issue some of the criteria that you
Right.
have to prosecute the wrongdoer, and this government has done. But of course, nobody highlighted because it's very difficult to really
Go
keep
into
trace on,
detail,
on the
right.
government activity. This government have put senior official in jail. IUU took 3 years,
Right.
and nobody wants to talk about it. Only the fishermen and the fishing industry people, they got mad with the government.
True.
Yeah, because they thought that you destroy our fishing industry, you follow too much EU. But the thing is, Thailand is a rule-based country. We have a lot of rules, but some people do not follow the rules.
Well, I don't think we're good at enforcing the rule too usually.
Well, certainly.
We have a lot
not
of,
all.
we have rules for everything.
Well, we have rules for everything, but sometimes people do not follow rules. That's a problem. But we are rule-based. We are rule-based, and there is a certain roadmap we follow. But we are imperfect. It's not 100%. So a lot of people, when they look at Thailand, particularly in foreign policy, you have to be really thorough. Otherwise, you are too judgmental. You don't see anything. Thailand has a very good position in foreign policy, in international arena.
Will there be any changes with the foreign policies between the US and Thailand once the Biden administration takes place?
Interesting. No. Why? There are two things you must consider. Thailand and US is allies. Allies don't change.
Right.
So number two, we are
Except
the,
it's Trump.
well, Trump is an exception. Number two, Thailand was the first Asian country who recognized America. And these two basic positions will help Thai-US in all circumstances. That is why, whether it's Biden, whether it's Trump, overall approach of the US and Thailand will not change. That is, they want to see Thailand that is stable, that is open, and conduct free trade, except Trump, he was true transactional. But with Biden, I think it's overall. Biden will focus on, like human rights. Don't be afraid, Thailand has one of the best human rights defenders.
Okay.
We are very strong.
Okay.
So we don't need a foreigner to tell us what to do. The Thai, if they don't like the government, they will go out on the street. They protest, you see.
True. They
Yeah,
are
so
doing
it's
that
very
right
good.
now.
So local human rights defenders are best.
Right.
I can mention a few names. Ankana Niraphaichit, Somchai Homrao, they are first class. We don't need foreigners.
True. Talking about US, what do you think about this conspiracy theory that some people said the US government or some certain Western country are behind the idea of trying to topple the monarchy?
Well, no, I don't think so. But America, as a role models for democracy, does have the NGO, for example.
But what
No,
will they get from?
Oh, no, they get because they spread out their value is their duty, just like many other liberal democracy. They have the money to support. It's a Congress support organization, so they give out money for reason very clear to promote freedom of expression,
Right.
Freedom of association, to make an open society, which Thailand is. But whether to go for anti-monarchy, I don't think so. But certain organizations, certain individuals certainly spin.
Right.
Upright. Thailand is very free. You read all the detail of all these organizations, support 11 organizations. In other countries, no way. Cambodia kicked them out. Thailand, only Thailand will be able and actually have been able to tolerate all kinds of NGO. You name it, all the fiercest NGO, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International.
True.
They are great. They are great. Why? Because they tackled the issue that Thailand need help, human rights. But not on the anti-institutional like the monarchy. No, I don't think so. I don't think foreign country would like to see or support such a thing. I don't think so.
So why do you think people believe in this theory?
Well, believe because they don't have
Other things
no, they don't have no. They don't have comprehensive knowledge. When
Right.
they look at things, Thai people they like to look at the fragmented and then play on that fragmentation of information, highlight it.
Right.
As if it represents the whole truth and the only truth. That is not. Thailand is far more what I would say, very sophisticated society. You cannot just say Thailand is like that. You're always wrong. And people always say Thailand, this and that without really deeper understanding beyond the surface.
So there are many folds, many corners, many little
Yes,
details.
definitely. Nooks and corners. And that make Thailand so unique because you never get it right.
Okay, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. You keep guessing, but the thing is that every society, every culture has its own spirit, and intuition that keep the country going. And Thailand is such a country.
Anything else you want to add to this statement?
Well, I think I like the conversation we just had, especially about how Thailand is actually unpredictable and we have a lot of folds and details. I never really think of it.
Yeah,
like that.
Thailand is, in one word, is imperfect perfection country.
Huh.
Imperfect perfections because we tend to do things unexpectedly and certain things come out very well. Look at our handling of COVID-19.
True.
In the beginning, people laugh at us, you government lie. Because we failed to create our own narrative, we don't believe in ourselves. Osmo has been there for 38 years, long time, and now Thai people suddenly, we have Osmo, just like that. No, it's very good. We have a lot of very good things, but Thai people, they are blind, they don't look deep enough and appreciate their own achievement. We like to look outside for our achievement. If foreigners say, Thailand is good, really? We are good. But we dare not say ourselves are good. We must have our own indigenous narrative, our own that come from our cultural tradition with base, not something just come out from social media or something like that. Social media is good, but they have to base on the past, present, and also look toward the future. You cannot just look forward and forget where you come
Fragmented.
from. Yes, fragmented. Yeah, I like that word. So.
One final question. Experts have been saying that if Joe Biden becomes the president, it will definitely be a benefit to Thai exports and the overall economy in Thailand. How much do you agree with this statement?
Well, I agree because Thailand now enjoy very big trade surplus with America. This is why Trump wants to kill Thailand. 19 billion,
He wants to kill Thailand?
Well,
I thought he was busy.
No, because Thailand make too much money out of America.
Right.
So when you deal with Biden, there's a few things you have to do. Diversify your trade. So it involves America investment, We have to have strategy. We have to join CPTPP. We have to change our regulation, provide money, make it modern, Don't be afraid of Vietnam, So we have to look forward. And Biden will like Thailand because Thailand is such a moderate country, open. We sometimes mess up, but move on, yeah.
Imperfect perfection.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
I wish we could talk a lot longer, but unfortunately our time is up. Thank you so much, Kun Kawi, for giving us a deep insight of the US-Thailand relationships as well as ASEAN as a whole. ขอบคุณมากค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
And that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. สวัสดี
ส
ค่ะ
วัสดีค่ะ